Hey, everyone. Welcome to another episode with Reality Unloaded Podcast, where we'll be covering the Challenge All Stars 5, episode 10 and 11, which is part one of the final. It's your girl, Keeks.
I'm Brandon. You're muted, Jenna.
I'm sorry, my neighbor's practicing guitar, so I was like, let me just mute this real quick. But hey, guys, I'm Jenna.
All right. And thank you all so much for joining us. Make sure to hit that like button, share, comment, and subscribe if you're watching live or if you're watching later. But we have two episodes to recap. We decided to do a double live and we'll save the next final or part two of the final for last. Ended with a bang. And yeah, so far, I will say part one final, way better than last season's final. Would you agree?
Agreed. Definitely.
How about you, Jenna? Do you remember? Did you watch it?
I did not watch. Are you talking about season 40 or last All Stars season?
No, last All Stars.
I didn't watch either of them, so.
Oh,
But I liked it. I liked the beginning of it. Very nostalgic.
Okay. Well, it is better. Trust our word on that. But let's get into episode 10 really quick. And we're going to briefly run through this episode because we really want to get into final part one. It's much more interesting than the last episode. But okay. So we start off the first half of last week's episode. Nicole talks about how her and Melissa's relationship has gotten better, blah, blah. They're touchy, whatever. The house then discusses like what could possibly be next, wondering if the final is coming or if they're going to have another elimination and challenge. Nani and Turbo, they're over here expressing their frustrations because they feel like they're backed up in a corner since Melissa and Nicole stole their star. Rightfully so. I mean, I get it. I definitely do still agree with Nani and her sentiments from the previous episode. And then Devon lets us know that she's ready to finally win the challenge, but says it's been difficult because Shane's mouth is reckless. And we're going to see how reckless his mouth is later on for episode 10. So let's get straight into the daily challenge. I mean, it was pretty freaking simple. Brandon, I don't know if you want me to take it away.
Yeah, I mean, the challenge was called Pressure Sandwich, which I didn't really like the name at all. It was confusing me. But basically, the rules are each pair will hold 4 puzzle pieces together as a sandwich and then navigate their way through a forest, collecting 6 more pieces along the way. And then if you drop any of the pieces along the way, outside of the white safety zone, you have to reset at the previous station that you were at. They'll continue this basically until they have 10 pieces together, and then they have to bring it to a solving station where they then have to build their puzzle. And then the first team to get it done basically wins and is safe from elimination or have the power to go in and steal the star. The only team being Nani and Turbo. So, I mean, there were a few highlights that happened. Like Nicole and Melissa, for example, were the first to drop their pieces in the very beginning. Nani and Turbo were actually doing pretty good. They took a different method with it, with a slow approach, just to try to be clean and steady as possible. What I did notice, though, was I know you mentioned Shane's mouth being reckless. He was talking crazy to Devon, like yelling, kind of similar to the challenge that we saw where they had to push each other down the slide. Yeah, like he sounded crazy, and I was like, I wonder if they're gonna touch on that, which I'm glad they did. But a lot of teams basically seemed to struggle once they got to having 8 pieces together. However, Frank and Sam surprisingly were killing it along the way, and they ended up winning. So were you guys surprised basically with who won, specifically with this specific challenge?
I was, yeah. Because I really thought it was going to be Nani and Turbo, honestly.
I thought so too, or it was gonna be Adam and Steve. And I was very surprised at how poorly the rest of the teams did. Honestly, Shane and Davon, for them to get in as many art, or Shane to be arguing with his damn self because Davon wasn't arguing back with him like that. For them to have dropped it or whatever, they were doing pretty well too. But I was surprised by Sam and Frank honestly having the ability. But as we've seen, Frank and Sam do really good with communication during the challenges. So I was like, okay, but I was surprised that they didn't drop it at all. That was my biggest shocker.
Yeah, they were again communicating like really well. They didn't mess up at all along the way, which was very surprising. And they weren't getting mad at each other. So helpful. But something that I did find funny along the way was basically, you know, when TJ's announcing the final results, saying this team won, yada, yada, yada. Shane was getting upset because Adam, I guess, tried to console him and put his arm like behind his back and then starts going at it with Adam. And then Adam's like, well, I don't like the way you're talking to me. And I didn't like the way you were talking to Davon. Like, treat people with kindness or speak to people with kindness the way that you would want to be spoken.
He didn't say Davon. He said Davon, which we're going to...
Davon?
Because Adam is like, nobody in that house, and Davon said it on Twitter, nobody in that house but Shane was saying Davon's name correctly. Nobody. It was so annoying. Every single time freaking Adam said Davon's name wrong, I'm like, bro, day, like good day, happy birthday, like hello, day, today, like stop saying her name wrong. You've been in the house with her this entire time. How are you still not saying her name correctly? For all of them, except Shane, which is so freaking funny that he's the only one that was saying her name right.
Mm-hmm. I mean, well, does she correct them? Or does she just let it happen?
I'm sure she probably did at the beginning and was like, bro, I'm tired of telling these people how to say my name.
Yeah.
I could see that.
I feel like Shane maybe says it correctly too, maybe because he's like not afraid of her, but he's like, all right, she's my partner. Let me not strike this one chord.
No, and he's also done a season with her previously. I don't think any of these... No, there's a few of them that have done a season with her previously. Nicole and Melissa, I believe. I think.
I think so.
And Nani and Turbo. Maybe we might be wrong. Clearly, somebody's having a grand old time behind me, so I apologize. Yeah. I was happy that Adam said something. Clearly, like he must have been talking to her a lot more crazier than we saw. And I mean, she had every right to be upset. You could tell that Davon has grown a lot because the old Davon would have let him
in. It would have been a repeat of, I forgot what it was, Final Reckoning, I think it was that they were on.
Yes.
Yeah, but I mean, he had his moment, whatever. But what I was annoyed with was back at the house. Basically, Adam went up to Shane and he asked him what was wrong yesterday or earlier, whatever time it was. And Shane basically turns it and says, you know, I've been dealing with one of the most stressful partners this past month, and everyone's convinced that she's the victim and she's been getting yelled at. And that's not the case at all. And I literally am sitting there like, when did she ever yell at you? Like, never. You're always
show us the footage. Show us the footage.
Because I agree, like Davon, like they have nothing to show of her. I mean, they didn't show anything of her to prove his claim. So it's just like, who's really the victim?
Right. I don't know. He sounded like he got called out. He didn't know how to react. He turned the tables like, no, she's not the victim. I'm the victim. And I really didn't like that because from what we've seen of Davon this season, she's grown a lot. And like you said, Keeks, like she would have popped off before. And she said she's found God. She's a new woman. She's not doing what she used to do back in the day. So I don't know. I didn't like how he tried to turn those tables.
Yeah, I didn't appreciate that either. But and clearly for Adam to have said something like Shane must have been wilding out. And Shane just can't take the heat. And like I get it, like you're upset, but come on, like don't be a sore loser. Like that's ugly. Um, but okay, so back at the house, right? You mentioned that like they talk or whatever, and Shane brings that up, and then they get into their little tiff. Nani then says that she has to make sure that her and Turbo get the house vote because she's concerned that they will try to block them from it completely, which smart. Um, and while they're out at night, Nani talks to Frank and she puts her and says put her against whoever, like she doesn't care at this point. She just wants a chance to get a star. And Turbo is doing whatever he wants to do, talking about animals, not giving a damn. Then Adam goes on about his star. Well, actually, how did y'all feel about Nani's strategy? Like, it makes sense, right? At this point, do what you can to get a star.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know why no one or anyone didn't try to block them from getting the star. That would have made better television, but they're boring. So what can you say?
Yeah, I was actually surprised by that. I was like, so y'all are just gonna let it happen? Because I really thought they would have been like, nah, we're not gonna allow them. We just want them out. Hey Mary, thanks for joining us. Frank games play benefits Shane and Davon the most, even if Frank didn't want to. So I am tired of Shane complaining. You're right. You've made a point there. Thanks again, Mary, for being here. Yeah, so we agree with Nani. It makes sense. Nobody blocked them. Why wouldn't they? I mean, come on, they should have. Adam goes on about his star being stolen by his rival and how he deserves an apology. And I'm over here like, didn't you screw Steve first? Last I checked, you screwed Steve and threw him into the elimination, right?
Right. And it wasn't even like Steve
was
didn't
so out of
even
left
do it
ear.
out of malice. Like he did it like, well, there's nothing else to do, so like I'll just take your star, like as a joke. And this man is still talking about it a whole year later. Like, get over it.
Yeah, Jenna didn't see this, but Jenna, like pretty much last season, Steve got thrown into the elimination after going in multiple times because of Adam at this point. Like, I'm pretty sure either Adam voted him in, and then he was like, "Oh, that's just what he had to do." And then Steve was like, "Okay, well, considering that when you won an elimination last season, you could steal someone's star that had a star. He stole Adam's." And Adam has been in a tiffy about it, and I'm over here like, did we not watch the same season?
He had it coming, and now he's crying about it because
and he's been crying about
it.
He's pulling a Shane. He's pulling a whole Shane.
Okay. I don't know.
If I was Steve, I would have, and I forgive you. Right, because what are you talking about? Like, apology, like, what's happening here? I don't know. And I don't like the way that, I don't know why production is not clearing that up. So, whatever.
I agree. Yeah, like because I remember it clearly, but it would have been funny to show like a flashback and see that whole moment.
Right, because I'm over here like, I literally remember us going off on Adam about that because Adam literally, his reaction to it was just so like foul. He was out here calling Steve all types of bitches and everything, and like it was a mess. But anyway, so clearly Steve ain't really trying to say sorry. Which I thought was funny. Davon then tells Frank that the problem that she has with her partner is that at his big age, he thinks it's cool to be a villain on television, and she doesn't like that. And guess where Shane's ass is at? Right behind her. And I lived for this moment because I said, exactly. Like, I hope you hear it. And I'll say it, and I'll say it even louder just to ensure you hear it. So then Shane goes, if you want to go home, we can go home. And in her confessional, she's saying like working with him has been very difficult, but she just has to shut up because she's gonna crack. Shane then goes off on a producer and says, I never yelled at her. And he wants to be done with the show. And he's even telling the producer, like, don't get this on camera. And then they flash back to him clearly yelling at her more than once.
Make it make sense.
I just love how everybody's like, do you forget there's cameras everywhere? Like, you can't double back and say, I never did that. Roll the tapes. And it's the same with Melissa and Nicole. We'll get into that one too. But like,
nasty.
oh
my
God, I can't with these people. But
what is good with them? No, and I do think like they do tend to forget the cameras are there. Mind you, these people have been on shows for several years, or some of them have done it for several times in a row or whatever. Not all of them, that they're used to the camera, or after a while, like they start to like let loose. They're not like camera shy, or they're not like eyeing down the camera, like trying to make sure that they're aware of like what they're doing every single time. Like they just lose that little front, that facade that they put on for the first few weeks of filming. So then the next morning, Shane talks to Davon and he says he wants to apologize. And she says, you know, there needs to be some sort of self-reflection because she does not know how longer she can bite her tongue with him. And he agrees. And he's like, listen, I want to be a friend to you. We want to be friends, but like, let's agree to a code word so that this doesn't happen again. And the code word apparently is tone or quick shift. But clearly it happens again because based on the next episode, there's beef. And I'm not talking about what they was eating. Or maybe they were. Who knows? But Nicole and Melissa, they're working out, wrestling each other. It reminded me of Corey, you know, saying, I don't wrestle, I beat bitches up. Well, these girls, they were really wrestling and flirting. And then Melissa got the audacity. Or no, yeah.
Nicole had the audacity.
Nicole has the audacity to FaceTime her girlfriend, and then she's gonna have Melissa join the call.
I really hope they're not still together. Because if they're still together and I'm her girlfriend and I'm watching this with her, what is your excuse, Nicole? That's nasty.
Listen, can I just say something? For Nicole to be a serial cheater, that girl stay in a relationship. What is it about serial cheaters that they're always in relationships? I don't understand.
Yeah, for real. Just stay single.
I don't get it. I really don't get it.
But then there's no thrill of cheating, so
hey, are you
she
really
even able to pull these people? I don't get it.
I don't get it either, because that accent, that the way she talk is literally like nails on a chalkboard to me. Some people think it's endearing, not I. I think they do it all for the cameras. You might be right, AR. You definitely could be right. Two things could be true. Davon already had multiple. She blocking Shane after this. Well, listen. I will say this. She seems to be cool with Shane based on her tweets. She has said it multiple times that they're good now, currently. I don't know how long that will last. All right, so let's get into the house vote. Nany and Turbo, they end up being the house vote. Everybody grants them their wish. Great. Okay. After the house vote, Turbo says he wants to give Nany the first place she deserves. She still ain't getting. Everyone is kind of scrambling because they don't know which team is going in. Obviously, with Frank and Sam, really with Frank's decision making, who knows? But Adam and Steve, they should have known that they were going in. Like, hello, the entire season, Frank has been saying he's trying to get the strong players out. Why would you think that you're safe? And then let's get into the elimination. Go ahead, Brandon.
Okay, so everyone's, like you said, is worried about who Frank is going to throw in. And surprise, they say Steve and Adam because they want to better their chances in the final. Adam's mad, but like I think Steve was like, I expected it. Like, so that was kind of annoying because they could have made different gameplays to make it for better outcome in the end, but whatever. The elimination is called Star Bluff. I did not like this elimination at all. I don't know who thought it was a good idea, but basically the game is played in two parts. The first part, each team will be sitting across the table from each other, and one of them will open a box, and it'll either have a star or not have a star, and the other team has to ask a series of questions to basically guess if they are bluffing and don't have the star, or if they actually do have the star. And then after 2 minutes, the other team will try to guess, vice versa, basically. And then they keep going back and forth. And then in the second part, based on however many times they were correct, they'd have less yoga balls to transfer from one side to the other side. And then the first team to transfer all of the balls basically wins in the fastest time. I mean, nothing was really happening other than Adam and Steve having a better strategy of like playing around and like putting on this cheesy like improv situation to throw Nani and Turbo off. And I think in the beginning, the score ended up being 3 for Adam and Steve and then 2 for Nani and Turbo. But in the second half, it was an easy win, I feel, for Adam and Steve, because I felt like Nani and Turbo in the first part of the second half were trying to figure out what to even do and how to even get the balls up. But it just seemed really easy for Adam and Steve. Like everything is always easy for them. And yeah, they ended up winning. But what do you guys think about this challenge?
Jenna,
overall?
you go ahead. I hated this elim.
I like the beginning, I thought was kind of corny. I just feel like I agree. I liked Adam and Steve's strategy. I thought it was good for TV. Like, and you could tell Nurno and Tabi, listen to me, Nani and Turbo, you could tell that they were just so disinterested. Like, I agree. I would have sat there and I would have been like, come on, this is stupid. Like, for what? An advantage in the actual physical part? Like, I don't know. Nani was just sitting there like, can we please just guess? Like, this is stupid. So I agree. And Turbo, I don't even think he understood what they were supposed to
Me too.
because he was just sitting there not saying anything.
I was like Mary said, I was like, bro, no way y'all gave Turbo these types of eliminations. And yes, I agree. Turbo should not be on All Stars. He needs to be on the flagship show. He deserves to be on the flagship show. This is not it for him. At all. And I hated this elimination as well. I was so happy when it was over. That was the best part. It being done.
It really was. I mean, but I was sad to see Nani go for however many times. I just want this girl to win already and call it a day and be done, because I feel like if I was her, I would feel defeated at this point and just give up.
She should have felt defeated 10 losses ago.
No, I think Anissa should feel that way. But for her, like,
two things can be true. Her as well. Her as well. I don't know. I just feel like Nani, like, just cut it. Just stop. Just stop.
I mean, physically though, like her and Turbo were doing pretty well. Like they unfortunately didn't have the social game in the house
that Nani typically has,
because a lot of their people went home earlier, and because of that, it was their downfall. But I really do feel like they could have been a strong contender in the final.
Oh, for sure. If they would have been in the final, I think that they would have done pretty well so far with what we saw. But yeah, Nani, please. I want Nani on Lesbian Love Island, not here. Yeah, same. I don't know. Maybe she gotta do like, maybe she's better off doing the Amazing Race.
Oh, she could probably be good at that.
She could probably be really good at that.
For her,
but I just
Race.
Honestly,
her
she
and
could
Leroy,
go with
so they could both win a show.
So they could both win. Oh my god!
That
Nani
would
and
be
Leah went for
cute.
the Amazing Race.
I'm actually, yeah, I'm voting for that one
Y'all
too.
go on their pages and say do the Amazing Race with each other. Just tag them in there.
Look at me
Yeah,
That'd
in
be
my
with
so
producer
cute.
bag.
yeah, honestly, they would be so cute for that. Why haven't they done that already? Well, maybe like the MTV contract doesn't let them because MTV apparently
They
like
have their
sucks them in.
favorites. Hmm.
It's the same network. It's CBS, Amazing Race, which is Paramount. So
Yes, yeah, true. I mean, I don't know, but they should definitely do that. Oh my god. But yeah, so Nani and Turbo they dip out. Adam and Steve end up winning, as we all said. TJ announces he will see everybody at the final. The final star holders are obviously the last ones there. Adam and Steve, Frank and Sam, Nicole, Melissa, Davon, and Shane. And yeah, everybody's taking their ass to the final. So, speaking about the final, let's get real into it. And speaking about lesbian lovers, as Mary just mentioned, let's get into Nicole and Melissa. Well, Nicole was getting into Melissa for sure because we opened up the episode with them touching each other, grabbing each other, touch it, bring it, babe, all that. And then we see Melissa pulling down her pants. They set up a whole little fort so that Nicole can enter Melissa's fort. And I was like, oh, interesting. Okay. Didn't you have a girlfriend? Don't you have a girlfriend?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
just go
Nicole
for it themselves.
Nicole cheats on her girlfriends every season she's on.
Every time she changes her panties,
Ev-
she cheats
oh
on her
my,
girlfriend.
she cheats on her girl. I was just like, no, honestly, if I did a Nicole, I would be like, you cannot go on this show while we're together because you're gonna cheat. I have no idea what is happening. So, whatever, they decide to do their little thing, and it seemed to have been quick. So, clearly, maybe that's why Nicole keeps a lady next to her because she
I really
sure knows how to
wonder.
satisfy them.
I really wonder if, because I know that her and Laurel were friends, but now I wonder if because Nicole was hooking up with Melissa on the show, if she's gonna look at Melissa a different way.
No, I don't think so because Melissa and Nicole were fleeing back in the day. Anyway,
Yes, but because they're friends now, I don't know if she's gonna look at it differently.
I don't think Laurel don't give a damn about none of that. You think Laurel got morals? She don't.
Hmm.
She don't give a damn.
That's
Did
another.
we not see her crash out over Horacio?
That's another one.
She can stay where she at. Okay, so the final four teams have a dinner together, and again, they're talking about what they would like to do with the money. It's real sweet. This is very CBS-ish to me. I'm not with all the mush, but hey, Sam talks about that she's gonna get top surgery and buy a house. Davon obviously wants to provide for her daughter. Adam, he wants to become a stay-at-home dad and wishes his father was there to be there, like, and support him and be proud of him. Melissa says that she's gonna provide for her daughter. We don't hear from Shane, Frank, or Steve as to what they would like to do with the money, or Nicole, right? So then Nicole's messy ass because she's messy. She's gonna ask who's going to be friends after this. And Shane and Davon, yeah, I mean, I appreciated it.
I think it's a valid question too, because every other rivals pair that skipped out of the house was holding hands, skipping out of the house. So
True. I
valid
mean, I feel
question.
so. Then Shane and Davon get asked first, and Davon doesn't say a damn thing. She just eating, doing her thing. And Shane says he doesn't know if Davon views him as a friend, but he's loved this experience and he's lucky to have her as his friend, that he considers her a friend. And Davon deflects and literally goes, what's everyone's first meal gonna be after we leave?
I can't.
I'm,
I can't.
because
She's
come
not
on
gonna be
now.
fake. Again, this isn't Big Brother. She doesn't have to be fake. So no, I'm not gonna be your friend. Like, we're not friends.
So you
And
don't
I would
agree
do,
with Shane that he at least deserves a respectful response?
No, because he
no.
deserves to be talked to respectfully and not
No,
yelled
I
at.
agree. I
So
thought that was rich
I know,
coming
I
from
know.
him, honestly. I
Right.
was
I
like,
said,
okay.
hold on. You was yelling at Davon not too long ago. And Davon, she offered some insight. She tweeted that the reason why she acted like that was because the night before something happened between her and Shane. She didn't disclose what exactly went down, but clearly he must have been on some disrespectful ish. And I'm assuming Shane does this thing where he lashes out, which they've already addressed, and then he wants things to be okay and patched up just because he apologizes, and it doesn't work like that. So Shane obviously gets upset, and he's like, "Oh, and he deserved like a courtesy of a response or a cordial response." And Shane walks off. Eventually, he goes, "Oh, see you at the final, whatever." Adam says he thinks Shane's embarrassed because he thought Davon would have agreed, and they said they'd be friends, and she says, "Oh, no." I live for this moment. And then
No
Shane,
elaboration.
right? And then
I
Shane
don't
at
think.
the end,
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
well,
Sorry.
Shane says, he'd be damned if Davon leaves with any dollar that he earned for her, because it's been his alliances, his strategy that has gotten them this far, his side of the house. And I was like, oh, has
Right.
it?
he is playing way too emotional. He
Mm-hmm.
Get out of your head, sir. Do what you have to do, win the money, and stop acting like you were the one that carried the whole entire time. Because you weren't.
Mm-hmm.
If you really were by yourself, you would have been sent home because nobody likes you.
Right. Even your best ally, your best friend, wasn't even trying to play the game with you for real, for real. And also, like, how you go from, oh, I want to be your friend, I want to be your friend, but I'm not gonna give you no money. Like, you contradict yourself. Like, that's not something a friend would do. Why would you consider somebody a friend and do that? But clearly he was very hurt. So let's get into the final real quick. The rules are, TJ says the following will be the money amounts if you finish. Fourth place, 5K. Third place, 10K. Second place, 35K. First place, 250. I was like, okay, y'all could have broken that up a little bit better. Fourth place should have.
Yeah. Honestly, fourth or third, they don't need anything.
Yeah, they never
Right.
did that in the past, I feel like. At least on the flagship show.
They have done some stuff like that, but like this is little because of the fact that there's
Yeah.
no, it's not 500K
Mm-hmm.
or like a
Usually third
mil.
place is like 35K for third place.
Mm-hmm.
And then the other ones are a little higher. But
5K, bro. Like, just
that
tell me you
that
hate me.
that's
That's probably their
embarrassing.
flight home.
Like, stay the.
Right.
I'd rather stay home. Like,
They probably make
20.
more off their appearance checks.
They do. I'm sure they do. So then TJ explains that the teams will be fighting for stars, going to the dunes, to an oasis, to a lagoon, and finally ends up at a temple. They'll be running through a series of checkpoints. The order in which you finish each checkpoint will determine how many stars you receive. TJ says you do not want to time out because not finishing a checkpoint will result in 0 stars. So at the end, they'll tally up everyone's stars, and whoever has the most stars will become the champions. This is way better than what the hell happened last season. Jenna, you are so lucky you did not have to go through last season's final. It was bullshit. They were giving people stars, like just handing them.
That's literally how Laura won.
That's
Because
how
she
Laura won.
What do you mean handing them stars?
So if somebody got eliminated, in the
Oh, it was
final,
like the
they got to give a star away, their star away.
but
And
they
they
didn't
would,
find out till the end, or
well, like you
They
could tell,
found
like,
out, yeah, basically like when they got to the final, like TJ says, like if you get eliminated, you get to give your star away.
Mhm.
mhm.
So it kind of defeated the purpose because realistically, that final, the people who should have won were either Kara or Steve. The rest of them like didn't really work for their stars, but them too. So it was kind of frustrating that Laurel ended up winning the whole thing.
Yeah, she got the win because people handed her enough stars, and like it was very frustrating because it just felt like it defeated the purpose of actually going through the challenge. Like it was a best friend challenge.
Yeah, so it's not physical challenge, it's a social game
Yeah,
basically.
social game.
And
Hmm. It was like the most social coded type of final that I think we've ever seen for the history of
yikes.
the challenge. So yeah. But go ahead, Brandon. Let's go into the checkpoints.
All right. So we start off with the first checkpoint, which is called coding ball. So basically, the rules are you and your rival will run down a hill and find a series of symbols that you need to memorize in order to crack the code. You then have to race back up the hill to a solving station, passing a ball back and forth. If you drop the ball at any time, you'll have to start over. You'll go basically up and down the hill as many times needed until you successfully crack the code. And the first team to basically crack it will win the first checkpoint and receive the maximum amount of stars. So, some things that went on, some of the highlights for this checkpoint was Sam. So, Sam was really, really, really having a hard time getting up the dune, gassing out, and it was the first round that I believe she started gassing out, and part of me felt bad because I had flashbacks of Battle of the Seasons when Frank and what's his name, Zach, were like ripping Sam and
Mhm.
sounding crazy. But I was like, Sam, this is not a good look.
No.
It's the first lap.
I felt bad. Frank was like, "This is her worst fear, and this is the first checkpoint." But, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. And I was just like, dang, like y'all really had to do her dirty and traumatize her like that? Y'all ain't have to do that. Y'all
Mm.
ain't have to do that. But I mean, listen, that dune was steep. That
It
whole
was
thing was
Very.
steep.
steep.
It was hard to get. It looked like it was hard to get your gripping with your foot too.
Mm-hmm.
So having the whole little part where they had to toss the yoga ball to each other, I'm sure in that heat was very annoying.
Yeah.
But I mean, everyone ends up getting to their solving stations while Frank and Sam are struggling. Uh, Nicole and Melissa shock us because they guessed theirs correctly and get first place. And then Shane and Davon right behind them. Adam and Steve, surprisingly, have to make another trip because they were getting it incorrect. So they went back down, went back up, finally got it correct. And Frank and Sam just end up timing out. So basically, the win order for this is first, Nicole, Melissa, they get 4 stars. Second, Davon and Shane, they get 3 stars. Third, Adam and Steve, they get 2 stars. And because Sam and Frank timed out, they have 0 stars. So next checkpoint or second checkpoint, which is called barrels. For this one, the rules are on go. You can only use rope and a barrel to transport all of the barrels from one end of the hashtag to the other. And the goal is to basically get all of the green barrels to one side and then all of the brown barrels to another side. And then once all the barrels are placed on the top of the platform, you'll have to then solve the puzzle. And then the middle barrel will have a fixed number that you have to have the barrels around it adding up to. We saw this exact thing in an elimination, so I was kind
Yeah.
of annoyed that they included it because
Yeah. I was gonna
why?
ask y'all, how did y'all feel seeing an elimination be in the final, considering that there was a team that did that exact damn challenge, even though they didn't win. But I was just like, why would y'all include something that somebody has done? Like, I didn't understand that. I was kind of like a little annoyed with production. I was like, I feel like that's lazy. Y'all could have found
It's
something that
giving giving
none of
very
y'all could have
lazy.
done.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't like that.
I don't know. I just feel like Adam and Steve surprised me because I was like, oh, they have this in the bag. They did this before. So I was surprised they didn't finish first. But I was also annoyed because Sam was just rolling on through. She's like, oh, sorry, Melissa. I'll get out of the way in a second. I was like, girl, where is the competitive energy? I would have been like, actually, I'm going to take my sweet ass time. But
I'm
then
gonna
Frank
block
probably,
you.
yeah, but then Frank probably would have
Right.
yelled at her, like, hurry up, hurry up. So I don't know.
I'm sorry. I get Frank's frustration and why he
Yeah.
started because like there's really nothing you can do, and unfortunately, like his endurance level is just at a different tier than
Yeah,
hers is.
for sure.
So for these both to be like stuff you have to have endurance and balance for, like
Hmm.
I know he was frustrated, so I get it. But he's basically frustrated with her because she can't figure out how to move on the barrel. She's flopping around. Um, Adam solves his puzzle first and then goes to go help Steve with his. And surprisingly, Shane and Davon are right behind them. And I didn't know that Shane was also a math wizard because they end up winning.
Mm-hmm.
So kudos to them. And I think this is the moment that they saw, okay, like we're in the final, we're working really well together. I think we have a chance. Like, because they
Mm-hmm.
from here on out, we're just on go.
Hmm.
Yeah.
But the
I was
win
Which
very
I
order
shocked.
for what was that? Sorry.
No, I was very shocked that they were working so well
Yeah.
together after that whole breakfast dinner debacle that they had. I was like, oh, okay.
Hmm.
Very interesting turn of events.
Very. But I was happy for them.
Yeah,
It's nice
same.
mm-hmm.
to see someone new winning. Just like I was happy
Mhm.
that Nicole won in the first one because I was like, okay, finally something different is happening. But the win order for this is Shane and Davon got first, so they earned 4 stars. So now they have a total of 7 stars. Adam and Steve came in second. They earned 3 stars. Now they have a total of 5 stars. Melissa and Nicole came in third. They earned 2 stars. Now they have a total of 6 stars. And Frank and Sam end up coming in fourth. They earn 1 star with a total of 1 star. So this is when Frank basically has his breakdown, and he's just is basically saying that his partner is not doing good. Like he doesn't know what else to do, and it's frustrating because I believe he said he didn't know he was trying to like act nonchalant about him making it to the final throughout the season, and now in this moment he's realizing like it was all a front. He really wants to be there. Like this is his passion.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, Frank. He
Frank,
was
Frank.
really trying. He's like, I'm trying not to patronize her, but like, I really want to be. We made it to the final, and like, the strategy stuff is over. I just said, freaking, he is crying. Mouth is full of spit. You already know when you start crying that heavy.
I felt bad. I really did.
I felt bad too. I did too. I did too. But I'm like, yo, Sam did not. She did not prepare. And we'll talk about it later because Melissa,
Mhm.
Sam, Nicole, and Big T, they went on live, and Sam and Nicole ended up getting into it or whatever because Nicole was being an asshole. But Nicole kind of made some valid points. I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, so Let's get into checkpoint 3 called Towered Out. So the goal is to build a giant tower of 28 baskets using a giant bungee sling. The goal is to build a perfectly shaped pyramid. However, while you continue this process for all 28 baskets and stacking them up as fast as you can, the first 7 baskets have been placed, luckily, as a base. Um, and then every team was given a ball to sabotage any other team they want. At any moment, you can take the ball and slam it into their tower, but it's not a free shot, and they can block it. So, um, Melissa, we see her getting frustrated with Nicole because Nicole's moving too fast. And mind you, they were working well, but once they make like one mistake, Nicole starts getting frantic. And I'm like, what? Why are you messing up? And Melissa's trying to talk to her all calm and everything. And then Nicole is getting hype and she's like just moving fast. I said they're gonna fuck up for the rest of the game. Davon and Shane are doing great, dusting everybody. Adam and Steve decide to sabotage Frank and Sam, which was dumb. And again, Adam, this is how we know that you are not one of strategy, not one ever. Why would you do that? Like, of all people, you were gonna go for Sam and Frank, who only have 1 star, and then didn't they miss?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Adam missed. So it's like, what was the point of that? A waste. And then Frank and right, revenge, but like revenge needs to hit, like, like that was nothing. Frank and Sam then peep that Davon and Shane are clearly close to finishing, and smart of Frank to peep that they were both on the ladder, on the little ladders or whatever, and then the stairs, and runs and hits their pyramid. Luckily, it wasn't too many that he knocked down, but it was just enough. And then Adam and Steve end up pulling out the win with Frank and Sam right behind them. Honestly, I was like, dang, like I was really hoping Davon and Shane won because this would have put them in an extreme lead. I was really hoping.
Yeah, like that whole little like back and forth thing between all of the 3 teams were really unfortunately it messed them up because they would have won. But yeah, Frank figured it out, as Frank always does.
Yeah.
We knew Frank
we
had
knew.
no
Well, I mean, we'll see, because now with as we saw, like this was kind of like an equalizer, right? And then the camping chaos just as well. And they're starting to catch up. And then Nicole and Melissa, they end up getting 1 star. So the win order so far is Adam and Steve, they're at a total of 9 stars by the end of this. Then Sam and Frank are now in second. No, they come in second. They get 4 stars now. Or they have 4 stars total. And then third place is Davon and Shane. They now have 9 stars, which is the same amount as Adam and Steve. And then Nicole and Melissa, they gained 1 star. So they're at 7. So at this point, Adam, Steve, Davon, and Shane are in the number 1 spot. And then it's Nicole, Melissa, then Sam and Frank. Now we get to the last checkpoint of the day. And honestly, this one, I feel like everybody underestimated how tough it was going to be. I even underestimated it because I said, and we've seen a variation of this in previous finals where they have to literally match everything to the T, but I don't think it's been as extravagant or as detailed as this one. I don't know if you can recall, Brandon.
I think they did this in the last All-Stars, I want to say. Because I remember too. Laurel looking, or maybe I'm mixing up my seasons. I remember Laurel was there and she was looking like really detailed. But I remember them doing, I think Bananas also had done it. Maybe it was the same season. I can't remember. But
it wasn't 40 though.
It wasn't 40.
With all that damn swimming.
I think this one was a little easier for people because they had to bring the pieces to one side. as opposed to rearranging a campsite or something. That's what it was. They were rearranging a
Yes.
campsite.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I remember that. Okay, so the rules of camping chaos, the fourth checkpoint and the final checkpoint of the day is you have to race up a hill around the corner. You'll then see a giant answer key, which is an entire camping setup of 42 precisely placed items that they must recreate at their own stations. You will do this by transporting one item at a time, going back and forth as fast as you can. The first team with the most accurate setup and the fastest time will win this checkpoint. At this point, I'm like, when they said one item at a time, I was like, bro.
42 items, one at a time. So if you split that between two people, what is that? Like 21 times?
Mm-hmm.
So,
Well,
but it seems
not including the if they get it wrong, they have to go back.
right. And I peeped like a lot of times Nicole was going more than Melissa was for sure.
Yeah,
But I
I
don't
can
know.
Which
imagine.
is crazy because Nicole didn't know what was happening the whole entire time. Like Melissa kept saying, "Stop touching shit," and she kept
Yeah.
moving stuff.
But Melissa also like kind of pissed me off because it's like, girl, you keep saying no, this is the way, but you're not going back to fact like to check yourself either. She's like sending Nicole to make sure, but she doesn't believe what Nicole's telling her. So it's like, okay, so
I
go
Right.
mean, I get
back.
that part though. I get it because I wouldn't
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
trust Nicole either.
yeah.
So TJ is there playing his little guitar. He's singing a song for us and everything. I said, "What is going on with this moment?" People are obviously getting winded. They're losing endurance. The only person that is doing well or keeping up is Frank. And Frank says that he has photographic memory. It didn't work in his favor, or maybe it did because he got second place. And then Adam and Steve are the first to ask for a check, but are incorrect. Then Nicole asks for a check. They're incorrect. Davon and Shane are positive that theirs is correct, but also get it wrong. And then Nicole's dumbass moves something before calling check again, and they get it wrong again. I'm like, oh my God. So they keep going back and forth. You visibly see people getting tired as fuck as this checkpoint is going on. How do y'all think y'all would do in this checkpoint?
Awful.
I
Terrible.
think I think by myself I would do well, but because you're with a partner and you don't know if they're gonna move something, it would have
Mhm.
to be a partner that I knew was also smart. Not calling myself smart, but I am smart. But like I
Right.
wouldn't want them to be doing what Nicole was doing because that would literally piss me off. Like
Yeah.
I would quit. But I think I would do well in my
I think I would do well too. I used to be a server, so I feel like I would be aware of placements of stuff like that, and I like that whole decorating stuff. Um, but yeah, I think I would be mindful. Like, don't move anything until we're together.
Mhm.
I need to see what you're doing or whatever, or like bring the stuff and then I'll take care of memorizing everything if that's the case. Devon, she says that she's good at this because she's nosy and she peeps everything. And I was like, okay, let's see how it goes. And then Shane and Devon, they end up getting theirs correct first. And I'm like, yeah, this is so good. I'm so happy for Davon specifically, but also for Shane because again, this is Shane's first final. But really happy for Davon. So they're at a total of 13 stars. Then Sam and Frank, they turn around and they're at 7 stars. And I said, okay, they have to keep this momentum going. And then we have third place, Nicole and Melissa. They earn 2 stars at this point. And then Adam and Steve, they earn 1, and they're at 10 stars total. So the lead right now, Davon Shane, then it's Adam Steve, then it's Nicole Melissa, and then Sam and Frank. So it's pretty good that it's kind of evening out. Anybody can pretty much win at this point, which is why I also have been enjoying this final a lot.
well,
Is there any
Sam and Frank can't. I don't think so because they have 7 stars.
Yeah, they have 7 stars. At this point, like, they could probably get third.
Yeah.
Did they say how many
Yeah.
checkpoints there were in the beginning or no?
Well,
I
for this day
believe they said
before,
5.
oh, it's just one thing tomorrow? I mean, not tomorrow. Next week?
What did they
They
say? They said
said,
the
hold on.
dunes, they said the lagoon, the
Oh,
oasis,
you
and the
know what?
temple.
Mm-hmm. So there's a lot more then. Because I understood it as 5, but I was probably
Yeah.
looking at it separate. So yeah, you're right.
Mm.
Mm.
Yeah, I
So that's a
think
lot.
it's gonna be a heavy day for them. But I do hope that Davon and Shane stay in the lead, to be quite honest. I do think that maybe depending on if they have more of these type of challenges, Sam and Frank can beat Nicole, Melissa. I don't know about Adam and Steve. I mean, well, with Adam and Steve, they messed this up so bad to the point that TJ really ended up saying, like, Adam, it was the napkin all along. Like, Steve changed it. I was so surprised that TJ said it because he was like, y'all done did this like at least 100 times already.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how TJ doesn't crack and say like just change that, like, because
Mm-hmm.
it would piss me off if I keep seeing people run back and forth and doing some dumb shit.
I
But I guess
agree.
that's years of hosting. He's seen dumb shit all the time. So
Yeah. Are you guys
and then
surprised with
also,
what?
I was just gonna also say really quick, that you see Nicole kicking her the stuff because she was the one that messed it up to begin with.
Right. Yeah, I would rather do this alone. Yeah. I mean, I could understand that. Are y'all surprised with how the final stars tally is going? Are y'all enjoying this final?
I like it so
Um,
far. I don't know. I'm very surprised actually. Like I said before, like Davon and Shane, I was just not expecting them to work well together based off of that little tiff in the beginning of the episode. So I'm surprised so far.
yeah, I would have to say this is way a way better final than last year, or yeah, last year's final. And also I feel like it's more evened out. Like we're actually seeing teams catching up left and right, and it's a pretty even playing field. I will
Mm-hmm.
say though, I knew that Davon and Shane could always work well together. And I think that they always did work well together. It's just the communication aspect of it that
Mm-hmm.
he just talks crazy sometimes. Um, but Adam and Steve, I expected them to do a little bit better because Frank and Sam definitely are doing better than I expected, and I would have thought they would have done better than them.
Yeah.
Didn't Adam and Steve win the daily challenge earlier on in the season where they had to slide down the slide and then swim over to the board and like didn't they win that daily challenge? That was a star challenge. I don't
No, I think
remember.
that was
think-
Sam and Frank.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
you're
was
right.
gonna
They
say
did
they
win that
won.
one. But
Mhm.
It
Adam
was
and
Sam and
Steve
Frank.
did very well in that one as well, right?
Yes.
So I was
Well,
surprised that they
they
struggled
do well
so
in
much.
everything.
Yeah.
No,
They
So I
shouldn't be there.
yeah.
I think Sam and Frank ended up getting their star from that challenge, and Adam and Steve won.
Yeah. So I was
Was
surprised
that
that they
it?
had to go
Yeah.
back down to look at the board again, honestly. And
Yeah,
that was
I was surprised by that too, and I was like, why didn't y'all just guess the word like Nicole and Melissa?
yeah.
And those
But
words were not difficult because I
at
was
No.
guessing
all,
those words when they were all like jumbled together.
I was
So
like, dang, this is pretty easy. I'm surprised it's not a phrase.
Mm-hmm. They
right.
should have done something like a phrase, yeah.
I
But
know they
I
did
don't
that
know.
on the flagship show in the final.
It Mary, it's a good final, better than All Stars 4 and 40. Mm-hmm. I
I
like
wouldn't
that
say
where
better than 40. 40
40 with
was,
all the swimming.
but that's hard. Like
No,
that
it
was.
was hard. It was hard. Yeah. This is not hard in comparison to that, but yeah.
Mhm.
I like that we know the points that they are getting. Yeah, and I like that about 42 because we did know where each one would land. And at that point, like we knew Jordan was winning halfway through the final because there was no way anybody else was catching up at that point.
I mean, Jordan won once he got to the final. We all knew.
Right. But what I wanted to speak about was the fact that Nicole and Sam, they ended up getting into it. Nicole pretty much was letting Sam have it. They were apparently, Sam had tried to warn Nicole and Melissa that they did in fact show the scene of them hooking up. And I'm guessing like Nicole, for whatever reason, she kind of snapped on Sam for no reason and was just like, well, you kind of knew what you were getting into. Like you knew who was going to be your partner. I didn't know who's going to be my partner. So, like, come on, how did you not train for endurance or whatever? And she started shitting on Sam, and Sam was not having it. And then all of a sudden, Sam's mother got involved. And I was like, what is happening? Sam's mother's in the background. And it was just a hot ass mess. It's just like, why are they beefing?
Honestly, the best part of that whole it was an Instagram story, right?
Yeah,
the
Instagram
best part of that Instagram
live.
story was Big T, because she looked, I don't know what she did, if she got like filler dissolved in her face or something. Like
I think she had a filter on.
No, I don't think so. Well, I'm gonna give her the benefit of the doubt. She looked amazing.
She did look good. She looked good. She was just sitting there sipping her wine. But it was very weird and odd. And, Nicole did make some valid points. Like, girl, you know what the hell you was getting yourself into? Why you ain't trained? But then to be coming at Sam like that, and Sam was like, girl, I at least won my first season.
That's right, Sam. Tell him.
What have you won? How many dailies?
My response would have literally been, but did I cheat?
Oh, right. She should have went low. She should have went down low. And she even said it. She was like, at least I won 2 dailies during the season. Nicole made a valid point here. She was like, it's not about how many dailies you win. It's about how you do in the final. And I agree with that too. Like, just get to the final. But I mean, Nicole, for somebody that talks a big game, like, you don't do that well.
Melissa said it.
Great. She's not that great.
Melissa said it at the little dinner. She was like, "Oh, it's nice to have made it to a final without ever winning a daily." I'm like, "Yeah. You guys didn't do anything all season. You literally stole a star. You didn't earn it, because let's be real, like the challenge that they did against Nani and Turbo, I didn't think. Right? They took a star from Nani and Turbo.
No, they took it from
the daily challenge.
Well, no, they did the elimination against Katie and Veronica, and then they won, and then they stole it from Nani and Turbo. Oh, for sure. Like they just had to steal the star. Yeah, I mean, even Melissa was like, "Girl, why are you coming at Sam? Like, what's going on?" And it was very weird because Sam even said it like, "We was just fine. Like, why are you lashing out? Like, you're mad because you're the topic of discussion." And I'm sure that maybe Nicole was trying to divert the whole Nicole cheating on her girl conversation again.
That's exactly what happened. She was trying to deflect, and then she wanted to focus on Sam not having endurance and focusing on that when girl. And I don't know if do you know if she's still with her girlfriend or no?
I have no idea. I have not a clue. I don't keep up with that girl. She mad that Sam kind of butch with respect, just like Nicole. And we like her, and we never like Nicole. Mary, you might be right. You might be right.
It's the personality. That's the big difference.
Right.
You can tell Sam's a good person.
Nicole, not so much.
I'm looking at
Nicole had
somebody. So
wait, what happened?
Nicole apparently she went live. No, Nicole apparently went live explaining the bed scene with Melissa. I'm not listening to it, obviously, because we're on the video, but one of the commenters said that she's in a new relationship already. So apparently Nicole is not with the girl that she was with on the show, and she's in a new relationship. So.
I mean, are we surprised? I'm not. No disrespect. No disrespect to the lesbians out there. I'm not speaking, but y'all move fast. Y'all don't move like molasses when it comes to relationships. Y'all
But
on to the
with
next. And I
her,
respect.
with her,
I don't know. Maybe the firefighter benefits are good. I don't know. Like, are they? Y'all tell me.
before she was a firefighter, she was doing this. So I don't know what it is about her because I don't know.
I don't know,
I'm
bro.
gonna be nice.
Wait, another thing. I don't know if y'all saw, but Bananas is on that Netflix, that YouTube show turned into a Netflix show called Pop the Balloon, the dating one where like they walk in the room, it's a whole bunch of people lined up with balloons, and then they pop it based on however they feel about the person. It's like the new Next. Y'all remember Next?
Oh, Next was messy. I love Next.
Next was so messy when people would get off the bus and then they'll be like, no. That was tea. That was crazy. Wow, what a time. Yeah, this is the new Next, I feel. And apparently he was on there and they all popped their balloons. Isn't he 50? Damn near. But maybe that's why. Medicare eligible damn near soon. You know, the benefits.
Wait, they
He got to
popped
be a millionaire.
the balloon.
They all popped the balloon, apparently. Every single
Really?
one. Yes.
That's
Eventually they all popped it. Yeah, so how old are the girls he could date? I mean, let me not go there. He dated Mariah, and she wasn't even 30, I think. But anyway, so that's all that we have for y'all, everybody. There's nothing else. Thank y'all so much for tuning in. Make sure to hit that like button, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure to catch us next week. We will be here for the final part 2. Talk about it. Let's hope. Let us know who y'all would like to win. Let us know who you would like to lose. Hopefully it's Nicole. And yeah, let us know, y'all. Make sure to comment. Thank y'all so much. Have a good night. Stay safe. Bye before we get in trouble. We won't. Bye everyone. Thank y'all.
Bye.